Go! God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up. God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up. God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up. Level up. Level up. Go! Everything that means everything. Eyes connected to everything, and that's why I'm in everything. All eyes on me, all eyes on everything. That means everything. Eyes connected to everything.
All right. Let's give this all a moment to just kind of breathe. Let's get some tunes in here. Good evening. Good evening to the gents. How y'all feeling?
Peace, peace, peace. All love, my brother.
All
Sure.
love.
Yeah. Excellent.
Real good.
Well, let's go ahead and chop into it. We got one already. We got one eye open. So, welcome to Things That People Don't Want to Talk About, brought to you by God Level. God Level is out there doing God Level things right now. She's not here. So, I am John Scott, a slide talker, lyricist, spoken word artist, martial artist, personal trainer, lover of life, student of psychology, and I am a husband who has 5 hip-hop albums streaming on all major DSPs now. Look for John Skywalker hosting. And I have my first co-host over here, King Newborn. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
Peace, peace, peace. This is King Newborn. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Newborn Everything. And as always, I am of service to family, friends, and loved ones. Peace, love, and light. Welcome.
All right. And next up, we got Sherm. Let them know who you is, bro.
Absolutely. I'm Sherman Vaughn. May not be as decorated as many, but I'm here to learn. I'm here to listen. I'm ready to tell a story.
All right. So today's topic is a continuation. Continuation on pushing kids out before they're ready to, for 18 or around 18. Right. So this is a continuation. Last week we ended off with the question: how can parents repair relationships with adult children who felt pushed out too soon? Right. So we're gonna go into our first question right here. What are some reasons why we push our kids out of the house when they turn 18?
Yeah, I don't have any 18-year-old children, so I'm gonna be looking to listen.
Okay, let's pivot.
Right.
Because that one's more of a reach back. That one was more of a reach back. So let's kind of get more current as I'm looking at that. All right, so how can a parent truly listen to their child's hurt without getting defensive, explaining reasons, or countering with their own list of grievances? You know, it happens, right? It's a natural tendency. Well, hey, now hold on, wait just a goddamn minute now. You ain't finna just attack me and make me out to be the villain, right? Like, yo, you don't understand the full breadth of the service. You know, we get defensive because they attacking.
Right.
At least it feels like an attack. So, you know, how can a parent truly listen to their child's hurt without doing those things? Is it possible?
I think so. I don't know.
All right, speak on it.
I just think it's basic. Just putting yourself in their shoes. What were you doing at their age? How were you feeling when they were in school? Try to explore what they're thinking about. Ask a good question. Ask penetrating questions. Try to ask the right question. Try to hear what they're saying so you can fully explain where you're coming from and how to fix it. We're looking to fix a problem, not create another one. That's the only thing I can really think of. Yeah,
King, you got anything?
I kind of like that approach. I will add what I'm learning, one, like Sean said, put yourself in their shoes, and just remember you was a child too, and it's okay. It's okay for you to reach back in memory and remember how hard was it for you to have your own autonomy and independence as a child to even talk to your parents. Not necessarily say like you're trying to chastise your parents, but let them know, hey, some of this did affect me when you XYZ, whatever the situation is, per situation. And know and understand all situations are not always going to be to where the child is going to have validation for why the parent did what they did. So it's like a two-way street, but the main point I want to point out is to be an advocate listener. That's what I want to say. Be an advocate listener.
Be an advocate listener. Speak more to that though. Like, I mean, we're trying to get them to listen, right? So what gets in our way of listening?
Ego.
Wait. Yep.
Okay.
Ego. I'm grown. I'm authority. This is my household. Do as I say, not as I do. But you're not solving anything by doing. If that's what you're trying to do, if you're trying to come to a resolution, you might have to be quiet for a minute and allow them to have space to speak. Respectfully, speak to you, not necessarily to the point where it's like it's coming off as blatant disrespect, but allow them to be able to express themselves respectfully to you, and that you are willing to listen to hear where it is that they are coming from a hurt standpoint or maybe misunderstood standpoint. I don't necessarily think it's always hurt, just being misunderstood as a child, and know that not always, in some instance, as an adult, we don't think as a child once we hit adulthood. And as a child, we don't think as adult because we're still a child. So I think it get crossed up right there. But most of it, I'm going to say ego and control.
Okay.
Yeah.
My thoughts on how a parent can truly listen to their child's defensive. You need to rehearse. If you're motivated to do this, I think that's the main thing right there is clarification before you do anything. You say that the goal is to understand your child, perhaps to reconnect, but there's a process to that. So you got to really be honest about to yourself about what that process entails. So, all right, I'm about to connect with my child and they're going to probably say some real fucked up shit to me. It's going to hurt my feelings. So what I do to some degree protect my ego, but also hear them out. You got to strategize for something like that, but it needs to be a clear intention. And there's a difference between intention and impact. There's a difference between intention and impact. What they're going to say to you is going to impact you, but your intention is not their impact. You have to be clear about what you want out of this situation. And in order to be clear, you have to be honest. Are you willing to listen? Are you willing? That's the first question you got to ask. And you got to say that shit to yourself. Hey, I am willing. I'm willing to listen to the hurt. Okay. How willing are you? Is there a limit? Yeah. You got to be honest, right? Yeah, there's a limit. Okay. So they letting you have it. You're probably going to react. What should you do if you react? What should you do if you feel overwhelmed? You know what? I should say, hold on. This is getting overwhelming for me. Let's take a 5-minute break. Or let me hit you back later and let me reset. You're gonna have to strategize. Because otherwise, if you just improvise in the moment, you're just gonna speak from emotion, because that's all you got right there in the moment. It's how you feel. You're upset, you're distraught, you're in your feelings. So you're naturally going to communicate from those feelings. It's right there. You go in with the plan, you stick to the plan with the hope that the outcome is what you desired. What do you think the biggest barrier to repairing this kind of rift? What do you think is the biggest barrier to repairing this?
Never try never to kill their voice. It kind of stretches back to the last question. Let them fill up their entire room with whatever problem, whatever situation that they're going through. Fill up the whole room. Got to actively listen. You say even if it needs to be right now, and I can. It's more of an urgency to them. Try to recognize what it is, but that's how you get the whole picture. So if it is just emotion, set up your emotion to come up with a plan while you're actively listening. Because if you shoot from the soul, you'll still reach where you're going, and you can talk about it later. You can still talk about it later. You can come up with more ideas. You can come up with more plans. But if it needs to be talked about right then and there, never kill their voice, because it's really and this is with everybody. Sometimes if you close that door, it'll never reopen. And there's nothing that you can do. It's because in a critical point or in a critical moment, you chose the selfishness or the ego, and they'll see that, because the love don't need to be explained even to a dog. So it don't need to be really explained to a small person that's looking at you and turning into you slowly. It don't need to be explained. So if you kill that, they'll never have to give it again. They could just lie and hide, and we'll just keep it like this. So I think that's one of the biggest things.
Okay. Mr. Debonair says the biggest rift is the mama putting lies in their head about the father, which hinders the relationship. Okay, that is okay.
Yeah,
it is a
but
barrier.
I say never worry about what the other is doing. All you could do is push through with your love. There's nothing that I can do about that. There's nothing. I'm never going to be able to change them. So what I can do is put the good in their head and let them outweigh which one is going to win. Sometimes it goes down to which one is going to win. But you did your part. You did what you did the best you could to your knowledge. And if you got that, I think you'll be all right.
But he does point to something central here, though, because the barrier could come from anywhere. All right. And it could be multiple barriers, right? It could be multiple barriers, but the biggest is going to be relative to the individual, right? So what he's signaling here is, what if the motivation for both the parent and the child to repair the relationship is there, right? So boom, we got the conditions. But then mama is looking at that like, nah, that can't happen.
Let it be a necessary evil. Let it be just real quick. I want that to be, the necessary evil could even be the mother. You can be the good, and the mother can be the person that's not so good. Because there is ups and downs in life. You can just be the love that you need. Bridge them to you, because they'll see what the barrier is. And if it's not with you, all right. If you keep that open path, you're fine. She can be that closed path. We'll tell you, just respect your mother, listen to what she says, and if you have any problems, talk to me. I'll just always be there. It don't matter nothing else. That's all.
Okay. King, you was about to say something.
Yeah, I was looking at the comment was made, and what came to mind as being the primary superhero and villain at the same time. So I bring it up by saying that it may not always be the lies that are implanted, but I am giving you indirectly situational awareness to hear me and no other noise outside of my primary care. And that could be either the father or the mother, if we are, not in the same household. And I say that to say that, well, if I'm the primary superhero, I'm gonna one up everything the co-parent does, so that way you will always look to me, not just for the answer, but the ultimate result for a solution. That's in a separate home front. But I think those that are married or in couples that are in committed relationships to be there for the children, I think sometimes we see that sometimes the father is the necessary evil or villain in the home front, because once you speak, all fun ceases, and you don't always want to come to dad, because dad gonna say no. Dad is strict, and dad is not really the loose guy. Mom might so be the one that, okay, baby, because she's feeding into your emotions and your feelings and coddling. And when it comes to dad is more so, hey, I'm trying to prepare you for the world, and it's not going to be a piece of cake all the time. So I think that could put up a lot of barriers, because you could be in the same home front and get the same results as you would if the mother or the father isn't present in the home front, where the child will be like, man, I ain't really sharing nothing with you because I have a more of a relationship of closeness and vulnerability with mom or said dad, so it could go either way. Me, then the repair part of it is basically trying to have somewhat emotional intelligence to know, and situational awareness to recognize some of the signs when these things take place. And like you said, John, that takes practice. It doesn't happen overnight. So that's something that you have to definitely practice on, so that way you can be aware of it and know that it ain't about you. It's not about you. So if you can be able to move yourself out of the equation, well, not necessarily the equation, out of the mindset of having an open mind to really hear what's going on, maybe you could come to a cognitive understanding to, direct. Not mention women carry this banner of it always is the fault of the relationship didn't work, but won't tell the kids where she failed as a woman, a girlfriend, and wife.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about moms not taking accountability. Yep, that happens too. Yeah. She's hurt though. She's unhealed, right? She's unhealed, and that's what we're seeing.
Man,
so
if you look at the problem, if you look at that problem too long, it's like looking into the abyss. You'll be sucked in as well. It could be the opposite inverse. You could be just as bad on the opposite side, because that's so stuck in your mind. Doesn't matter what she's doing. It can't matter, because honestly, just like D said, it's not baby comes to the problems, comes to you about problems from the mother. You have to be the shore that kid swims to. It's a long water, and we know that fathers, we play the long game. We of course we like, short things, short gratifications. You made it to this milestone, you made it to this milestone, but we like rules and regulations so you can get straight there. You get straight here, you get straight there. You can let them do whatever they like. It doesn't matter, as long as you're doing what you need to be doing. Everything else will fall in place. You know where love is. Nothing needs to be told. Where love is. Plants don't need to be told. You talk to them, they have a different effect than another plant that if you bad talk. That's what love is. It's here. Just keep doing you and keep the course. If you don't, if you look to your left or to your right, I'm telling you, you'll get brought down too.
All right. So what I think the biggest barrier to repairing this kind of rift is the parents' defensiveness. That is the core ingredient right there. And I'm going to say why, right? Most parents, even the unhealthy ones, have the good intention being strong, independent adults, right? And so when that child expresses their pain, their hurt, the parent here's a critique of their entire identity as a good parent. Okay.
Yeah.
So the defense mechanisms flare up, the justification, the minimalizations, the counterattacks, right? This is the ego trying to protect itself, right, from the overwhelming reality that they were failed parents, right? The defensiveness is block, shuts down the possibility of actually making a connection. The hurt is coming out and you're like, nah, shut that shit up, right? And then the child, once again, feels unheard, unloved, unseen, invalidated. You just perpetuated the cycle, all right? So you have to remember that this is still a child. And even though you haven't figured out how to love yourself to the point where, hey, it's okay to acknowledge that I'm hurt and that I need healing, you have to recognize that child needs that. Like, oh, okay, my kid is hurt. How can I help you with this hurt? You did it before as a parent, I would presume. At least once. All right, so you got to tap back into that rep. You got to tap back into that technique. Yeah. Parents offend. Next question. Many parents might think, yo, I was just doing my best. You know? How can they see their child's experience was different? How can they see that? Oh, another big rift is the father growing up totally different from the mom. Okay. Differences in parenting experience. Okay. Now the household is being between both worlds of how the parents were raised and get lost in the cycle. Yeah. The cultural divide, ideological divide. Okay. Yeah. A divide in terms of technique, philosophy. Okay. But negotiation skills, like, all right, well, obviously we're both on the extreme, conflict resolution skills, but that's what happens. We don't know how to resolve the conflict. We don't know how to resolve the conflict effectively. We don't know how to resolve the conflict by negotiating, saying, hey, you know what? I'm willing to give something in order to get something. Like, I'm willing to trade here. I'm willing to sacrifice something so that we can make this work. That mentality, somebody's got to talk. Somebody's got to say that shit in their own unique way. Hey, surely we can work something out. Surely we can connect. Surely we can make this work, right? Somebody's got to do it. Someone's got to be the cheerleader, but that takes courage. And it's hard to do that when the other person don't want to play with you. They don't want to be on your team. They ain't trying to be good with you. They're not motivated. It's like, it's hard. That's hard. So it's like, dang, I got to help you heal first before I can even heal this. So, King, what you got?
Oh, my brother Summer was trying to
I was just
chime
doing
in
what I
real
thought
quick.
was best. So,
no, I can't see John.
Connection. I see John.
Okay.
Can you brothers hear me though?
Answer the question. Let me see what's up. Yeah, I can hear
you. Many parents might think I'm just doing what I know is best. Well, I can relate to this. Had a situation with my boys. I was leading from an unhealed place by continuing to reiterate I grew up without my father, so therefore it's almost like y'all should be grateful that you have me as your dad. But that wasn't their fight nor plight, so therefore I had to change my approach on that and look at the fact that I am their dad, so therefore I can't teach from an experience that I'm having. I have to lead with knowledge, wisdom, understanding from an experience that they're having. And that was an eye-opener for me. because that's two different situations. Like I can't expect them to feel how I felt not having a dad growing up when they have their dad. So they can probably, like, okay, we hear you, dad, but you here. So how do we relate to that? So I had to change my approach on that, and by doing so, I think it was a little bit more effective for me, having better understanding when it comes to dealing with them in certain situations, and also remembering that again, I once was a child as well, and doing what's best might not always be what's right. So that could be tough at times, because again, you might be thinking of it as how you was raised and not necessarily how you're raising your child. So I mean, it's based on experience, and that can change from household to household. Again, it's not a right or wrong answer. It's just saying it depends on the experience.
Okay.
That's my take on it. What happened?
Yeah. He got
There you
kicked
go.
out earlier. It's all good.
Uh,
Sharon, you want to respond to the question?
Many parents might think I was just doing what I thought was best. Talking to their child's experience is different. Well, I mean, I was just doing what I thought was best. Man, that take a lot of reflection. I think that take a lot. I think that takes a type of emotional intelligence to where you got to grow from your past self a couple of times. And you got to be able to listen. You got to be able to take yourself out of the shoes completely and just hear the problem. But I think that's probably one of the most difficult ones because most people are living in their own world and they really can't see outside of it. So even their advice sounds like a critique. And that's not what you need in a time where somebody is expressing a problem. You don't need critique. You don't need judgment. You just need listening. You need active solutions and plans brought to the table. You don't. It's like answering a question with a question. It's not how that works. It's just not how that works.
Okay.
You bring a solution. You bring a solution to a problem. That's the only way I can see it. So,
all right.
I like that.
I think the parent has to, first off, again, this is about self-talk. This is about having the frame of reference. This is about acknowledging your motivation, right? You have to intend on seeing your child's experience is different from yours. You have to be willing. That's the first idea. All right, they're gonna say something that I don't know about. All right, so that's the first thing. You gotta take that assumption on. You can't frame this as an attack on your character either. This is about their pain. This is a testimony to their pain, right? So let's think of it like this. If you accidentally step on someone's foot, you don't argue with them about it, whether it hurt or not, right? You apologize because you accept that your action caused their pain. Oh, my bad. Oh, man, my bad. Like they're expressing the hurt, like you saw it visibly, and you knew hey, I had good intentions, that was an accident. Or even if it was intended, right? The first step is to say, my intention was, as a parent, to prepare you. But now I am hearing that the impact was that you felt alone. I believe you. And that validation becomes the foundation of all the repair. Just by, and you can go into the details, to give them more clarity, more understanding of your side of the story, but it's still, you're not out of the water yet, right? It's just one conversation. It's one conversation. You have to start with the intention of seeing it differently, and then whatever they're saying, like, hey, okay, well, look, I thought this. It was a huge assumption on my part. I'm woke now, and I'm committed. If you're open to, seeing it, I'm committed to making a change. Right? Let's transition into this next question. What does a parent need to do to get in the right headspace before any contact? Oh, quick pivot. As a Black culture, we're failing in relationships due to accidental pregnancies, not being selective when choosing the compatible partner to raise kids in a healthy, nurturing environment. Yeah, we're all sick. Okay. Yeah, we are all sick. Yes, we're failing because we're sick in that area. We got some healing to do. We got some waking up to do. Institutionalized racism, that barriers to our success. But we're making some efforts. We're making some collective efforts, right? So, and that's what this podcast is about. Back to you, King.
You gotta let the earth breathe for a minute, man. You gotta let that breathe. Yeah, he ain't lying though. He ain't lying. I guess I'm gonna say, based off that comment, first and foremost, one has to acknowledge your own mistakes and bullshit in order to get to a point to be able to admit fucked up. I wasn't, like you say, selective or focused like I need to have been, because I was choosing self the entire time, and sometimes by doing that, necessarily going out what I want instead of what I need can result in that, But to answer the question, I was just add to the comment as a Black culture. But to answer the question, what does a parent need to do to get into the right headspace before any contact with dealing with your children? Take a moment to breathe. Allow emotional intelligence to take over. You got to kind of get outside of self for a second. You got to get outside of self before you enter into said conversation or to even to approach them. Matter of fact, play it out in your head as many different scenarios you can come up with before you do bring it to the child. So see which one's the best one, pick it, and then try to dissect that, and then also allow the child headspace to come down off of that adrenaline rush or whatever it is they may be a little bit emotional about, upset about, or mad at you about. So I think they kind of go both ways. That's somewhat of my spill on it.
Sherm, what you got?
Well, I think this one, it's all about willingness. It's all about willingness. Soon as you're able to see that the problem is being explained, you're able to take just take yourself out of it. All the grievances, all the craziness, all the defensive stuff, all the ego. Just sit that to the side just for a second. Just for a second. As fast as you can. As soon as you do that, you'll be able to, you got to clear your runway for their problem. Yours may be cluttered and you may have a lot of food on your plate, yada, 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 however you want to express it. But just slide yours off. Throw it in the microwave. Do something. But just be able to hear them. Just be able to listen. Because I think, going back to what you said, John, if you're more willing than not, I think you can come up with the right answers. Or the best solutions. Yeah, that's my spill on it.
Okay. A few things. I agree with you on the willingness, right? I'll add to that and say, confront your why. Confront your reasoning. Are you doing this to relieve your own guilt? Or are you genuinely trying to understand your child? The latter's got to be the goal, because the former is very self-serving, and the child's going to pick up on that, right? So confront your why. Release the outcome. Detach from the outcome. All right, you got to accept that you may extend an olive branch, right, and it may be rejected initially. Okay, your job is to extend with no strings attached. All right.
Ooh.
Manage your expectations. This is a marathon, it's not a sprint. You're not looking for that kumbaya conversation. You're looking for a slow, consistent rebuilding of trust. You know, this isn't just a hit. Yeah. Oh man. This ain't a hit it and quit it. You know, this is a commitment. You know, you about to work out. You know, and it's a regimen now. It's a routine. It needs to be regular. You know, and you're gonna be chopping at some bricks each time to liberate, to free. You gotta break up. You gotta break your kid out. You know, and your kid done built up these walls because of you. So you got bit by bit, brick by brick. It's gonna get tedious.
Yeah.
It's gonna get tedious. Manage those expectations. It's going to get tedious. I'm sorry, but consequences, right? Practice some self-compassion. Man, acknowledge that you parented with the tools and the awareness that you had at that time.
Good part.
You know, forgiving yourself is necessary to avoid being needy for your child's forgiveness. And that's going to put pressure on them. You don't want that. Okay. Next question. Oh, hold on. Got a comment. I am the status quo or poster child of being a teen father. So I'm still learning that microwave food is less healthy than oven baked. Fair enough.
That's all right. As long as you learn.
Fair enough.
Microwave is only supposed to be a place where you sit food. Don't turn it on. Don't turn it on.
All right, hold on. Our next question. What's the best way to initiate that first vulnerable conversation? What should you absolutely avoid saying? Sherm, you want to shoot first?
Well, well, for some wild reason, I'm really good at these vulnerable conversations. So I don't really too much know how to explain it. So I give it my best shot. Because I think I'm so willing to take myself off the plate, and I invite them with, soft nothings or inviting greetings and stuff like that. I'm keeping my head above water just like you. I mean, we're making it, right? We still here, we still breathing. And it just leaves the table. It shows you that I got a little space on my plate. Even with your child, it's the same thing. It's just letting you know always, it's me and you against the world, not me, the world in you. That's not how this goes. So whatever you want to tell me, whatever you got to tell me, cool, and I'll let you into. And I think you do that by offering embarrassing stories of your childhood, embarrassing things that happened from your childhood, ways that you saw that you don't see now. It's just giving the whole plate. And if you constantly keep doing that, because like you said, this is a commitment. And if you keep hitting, you'll look up and your bridge is already built. So they'll walk over it every time, every single time. They'll just keep coming. And it won't be a matter of vulnerable. It'll be like, I can tell them anything anyway. I try to set up that relationship, and I will try to set up that relationship that I'm always listening, I'm always watching, and I'm always there.
King.
Let me see how I can answer this my way. So I don't know what to absolutely avoid saying, but I can say my approach now is to get on their level, to soften them up and make them more comfortable around me when they're at ease or they are overly stimulated by their emotions dealing with something. So one thing I've done in the past is went for like a long walk. We were walking together. As time pressed on, we started noticing things outside, people outside, cars outside. And before you knew it, there was a conversation unfolding to the point of a situation that they wanted to avoid. And we ended up talking about it. And, you know, pretty much, I just gave them a safe space. You know, so I really can't say I can say it was walking that helped initiate that conversation that I within myself kept going over in my head over and over and over. How do I approach this? How do I approach this? I don't want to come off harsh. I know sometimes within my voice when I'm trying to articulate myself, it might get a little deep and that can make one not want to talk to me. So that walk helped out a whole lot in that aspect, but it helped them actually open up to me. And in the 2 times that I actually did it, I found out more than actually I was looking for. So I mean, I can come from that standpoint. Yeah, on the other aspect, you know, I'm here learning like Sherman as well, but I'm just saying for me to help them not be overstimulated. We just went for a walk and all 3 of us we ended up talking. And it was like teacher student, teacher student, teacher student. So it was a surreal moment for me. Let me say that much. What you got, John?
The goal, first and foremost, is when you're making that first contact, the goal is to acknowledge and invite a conversation. Acknowledge and invite a conversation. You're not trying to solve nothing. Don't solve nothing. Just get them talking. Your goal is to connect. Get the connection. Like, don't ask for nothing. Just connect. Make a lifeline. If you get the conversation, do use I statements. What I mean by that is, I've been thinking about our relationship and some of the choices I made when you were younger. Validate their experiences, validate their ideas and their feelings. I realize that maybe some of my actions might have hurt you or just made you feel neglected, unsupported. This is about inviting. Don't make any demands, yo. I would love to hear your perspective, to understand your perspective, if you feel ready to talk about it. Give them some agency. Hey, there's no pressure to respond. You know, I'm just letting you know I'm here and I'm open, right? Avoid use statements, you know, you're too sensitive, you know, anything that blames, minimizing language. It wasn't that bad. Everyone goes through that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. The debt ledger, you know, throwing up. After all I've done for you, after all I've done, you did you forget? Nah, don't do that. Don't do that.
This how you repay me?
Oh man, it's tough. It's tough, but you're not gonna get across. And don't demand forgiveness. I said I'm sorry. What more do you want? Don't do that. Next question. And you know what? Speaking of that, let's kind of hold up. Certain conversations are too deep to have with the child mentality to understand growth. Yeah, who are privy to experience. Yeah, yeah. Which is why you said heal earlier, right? Yeah. How do you converse with someone who's unhealed? How do you converse with someone who is unhealed? Let's look up this next question right here. Okay. What if a parent is listening and still thinks, but they are too sensitive? I didn't do anything wrong. What is the smallest step that they could take that doesn't assume fault, but it might open the door? Just empathize for a moment. You know, you're listening to your kid, you're like, man, yo, you was really tripping. I really don't think that I'm wrong here. I really think you're taking this way too personal. So you don't want to assume fault, but you still need to open the door. What step can you take? King, you want to crack at it first?
Yeah, I'm taking a small little crack at it. What I did one time, we went through the whole situation from top to bottom, probably a good 6 or 7 times, from top to bottom. And here and there, I would say, so what happened here, or what brought you to this conclusion, or so have you seen this behavior before? Is this something that I display? If it is, let me know, because that's something I want to change about me, because I don't really like that. And I think what I did mostly was took him out and put me in, and then I asked him, so if this was Dad, me, what would you say to me? From your standpoint, your understanding, what would you say? What would you see in this that you would like to correct or feel like is the wrongdoing? Do you feel like maybe I was overreacting, things like that, or maybe a little bit over the top? And maybe I'm pushing barriers I shouldn't be pushing. And by doing that, he was able to see some of his overreacting without me even making a judgment call or pointing the finger or blaming, as you said earlier, John. I just let him walk it down by itself for real. And once again, it's important for me. I ain't gonna say nobody else. I'm gonna say for me, is to have an attentive ear and just listen. That's what I'm knowing my strongest superpower is, just to listen. Like overall, with all these questions, still just listen. Like I haven't been going wrong without listening and then acknowledge certain replies, and also where it is that I may have caused some hurt, and be willing to ask for forgiveness because I didn't take it from the standpoint or your state of mind that you are in, because I'm looking at it through adult vision. So I'm gonna say, man, you just gotta listen. Just really have to listen. It's not really all about saying anything. Just gotta be willing to listen. Willingness to listen.
All right, so listening doesn't assume fault. It doesn't assume fault, but it could open the door, because if they're talking, at least you're collecting.
Man, that part.
Sharon, what you got?
Shit, I think everything was said, to be honest. Uh, but
Right.
yeah, just try to, and in that listening, the only thing I could add is inside of that listening ear, if you see anything to take accountability for, do it as fast as you can.
Mm.
Let them know that it's possible to make mistakes. It's possible to learn from them. It's possible to get better from them. Because I think the only way you teach uh, a kid that's unhealed how to heal is show them how. You bring them on their journey. You bring them on your journey with you. Of
Yeah.
course, you
Yeah.
leave out some of the bigger things because that's a child's mind, but that comes with just coming up with a game plan. But I think if you can do that, you win. And not to sound crazy or nothing, because it's not about wrong or right or winning and losing. It's just
That part.
about being there. It's just about being there. I just want every time you turn around, I'm right there. And I ain't saying nothing. I'm not talking. I'll intervene when I need to.
Oh, he disappeared again. Damn. Come back, Sharon.
All right.
I
Can I
want to
be?
add this one little part,
Mhm,
John, and that's
mhm.
I'm gonna say this always, man. While I'm listening, I'm understand at this particular moment that I'm the student. It's okay to be a student sometimes. It's really okay to be a student. You always learning, and being that there's no correct book on how to raise a child, discipline a child, or how you come to conflict resolutions with a child. The only way to really do that is to listen. Be a student. Be an advocate of constantly learning. Just learn, because there are some things that they see that you may not see. Because why? My perspective is up here. My vision, my adult vision is up here. They're down here. I'm on old technology where they are getting closer to current technology and learning from that. So just be willing to learn, man. Acknowledge that difference of experience and knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and always be open to be taught. It's okay to be taught, and I feel like that's a level of being not just vulnerable, but humility. Getting rid of the ego, kill the ego for a second. And again, I'm gonna say, just listen. Be a student, man. Be a student.
Yeah, it strengthens the bond, right? When you really think about it, it strengthens the bond. You're recognizing, because in a relationship, you should be always learning about the person that you love,
That
right?
part.
Like
That
in a
part.
way,
Yeah.
they're strangers. They're just familiar strangers. And so as they evolve, I saw you here, and then you're here. Like I remember when you had these anger. I remember you were sick. And I remember, and look at you now. You're here, and then, or sometimes your kids remind you of who you once were, and you stray from the path. Yeah. So that's what the relationship is about. You're learning each other, right? And it's not just that power dynamic, of course, exists in a lot of parent-child relationships. Some parents feel like they're too good to receive anything from their kids because they've always been giving, right? So that power dynamic, I'm always doing for you, you ain't doing for me. So, there's a little bit of arrogance in it. But
Right.
if you
Right.
are continuously curious about your child, you'll be open to, hear what they have to say. And then that openness, they might bless you. Because you think about it, there's always advancements, right? And your kids, if you invest in them accordingly, they'll know to look for those advancements and share them with you and say, hey, these are the times now. We got a new convenience here. You don't have to do that no more, Pop. Word.
That part.
Okay.
That part. That part.
Yeah.
That part. Yeah. Yeah.
Information is power. To respond to the question here, curiosity, that is the smallest step, right? Just in a shell, curiosity. You don't
Yeah.
have to agree. You don't have to agree, right? You just need to ask one question, really. I wonder why they experienced it that way. I wonder why they experienced it that way. That tiny shift is going to open that crack of empathy. So, you know, it could be something like you're sending a text and you're like, yo, I saw this and I was thinking about you. Hope you're having a good week. This kind of reestablishes the line of communication without addressing the conflict directly, right? You just heat up the stove a little bit. Ooh, not shutting down. Yeah, not shutting down and leaving when the heat is in the kitchen. Easier said than done, though, right? All this is easier said than done. All of this is easier said than done. I'm not going to pretend like this is easy, y'all. The instruction, the God, that's the simple part. You know, you can, but you got to strategize, be intentional, plan for this. So, an apology is a start, but when does making amends look? But what does making amends look like? What does it look like to make amends? So now we talking, right? But how do we start repairing? What does that look like to y'all? You know, and mind you, just giving the backdrop, the background. You're reconnecting with your son, or you're the child that's reconnecting with mom, and they kicked you out early, and you still kind of feel, you know, a certain way. They apologize to you, but all right, you know, they just words. Like, oh, okay, you think those words are just gonna make all that pain go away? So what does amends look like when you see just even a glimpse of that hurt?
Damn, I fucked up.
I say action.
Yeah, damn, I fucked up.
There you go.
I fucked up.
Okay.
And I might even ask, what can I do to restore and or be put in a space where you can trust me?
Okay, so direct, direct, straight to it.
Absolutely.
I mean, like Sherman said earlier, you know, ain't no need to beat around the bush. Let me get right to this. Because at the end of the day, John, like you just stated, Skywalker, this is a relationship. We're trying to connect. The moment that I show you that I understand that I'm trying to be the better version of me than yesterday, I can't wait a month from now to just what is taking place right now, which is I'm trying to get you to trust me again, that I won't do this to hurt you in the future. So I need to make sure I'm showing you that I'm willing to change right now and stand on it moving forward. What you got? What you got, Sherman?
Love is a verb.
Definitely.
It's an action. You gotta just gotta show where the parts that or the points in time to where y'all had the situation or whatnot that you didn't have love in your heart. You didn't know what it was at the time. You learned better. So now it's time to show. I mean,
show and prove.
It's because it's, you could say it's never too late, but that's not for you to say at that moment in time, because it's not for you to dictate or judge, because that's they got to see it how they see it in their world. But just show up. Be willing to listen. Be willing to be there. I mean, you can say sorry a million times, but if I keep showing up, and I tell you every morning, 2, 3, 4, 5 years straight, I love you. Good morning. Have a good day. Talk to me about anything. It's consistency, because that's how you inch the door open. Because I don't think it just bursts open. I don't think it just shoots wide. I don't think that happens.
And here's something with that consistency too. All right, hey, keep it real now. Keep it real. Don't 100%. Start something if you can't. Hey man, because if you need to be consistent about the genuine thing. Okay, be consistent about the genuine thing. Don't be performative. Folks will figure it out, because all of a sudden you stop doing it. Be consistent about the genuine thing. Making amends is about apologizing with your behavior, right? So it's, let's just say, if emotionally, if they felt like their emotions were an inconvenience to you, um, you amend by now asking how they feel about that job situation. Or, oh, okay, how do you feel about the relationship you got with your girlfriend now? All right. Ask more about the feelings. You gotta get whatever it is that you were holding on to before, you gotta give it now. You were holding on to that shit. You were starving that kid of that shit. So now you gotta give it. All of that shit. You gotta go back and find all of that shit. Right? If their self-worth was conditional, if they felt like their worth was conditional, you got to start offering praise for no reason at all. It can't be related to an achievement. It's I love your sense of humor, yo. Um, yo, I admire how good of a friend you are. Affirmation, affirm your kid. That ties into self worth. If it's they felt unsupported, um, financially, offer some no strings attached help, but you got to look for those opportunities, right? Hey, let me know if you need anything. All right, please just I'm looking for an opportunity. Just give me an opportunity. Let me know what you need. All right. What you're trying to demonstrate is that old person is not here anymore, and I'm going to show you. This is the evidence. Here it is. I'm sorry. Here it is. I'm sorry. Here it is. I'm sorry. Here it is.
Yeah.
Give it. You already have it. You just got to give it. So just to clarify, is the goal to resume a parent-child dynamic? Or is it to forge a fresh adult-to-adult friendship? And what does that look like? Sherm, what you
Okay.
got?
Hmm.
I'm definitely gonna be learning on this one the most because
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an adult, but I would think both. I
Oh,
would think both. I would think both. And what does it
okay,
look like
okay.
in practice? Because I think after a certain age, now I don't know yet, but I think after a certain age, maybe around 15, you deserve a different type of respect. You're growing up, need a little bit more privacy on certain things, yada yada yada. You gotta just set the table. Just try to reset the table because sometimes you gotta switch hats. Sometimes you gotta. You're always gonna have to let your child know that growing up, this is coming. This is in your future. Happened to me. I don't think things have
Mm,
changed too much, but other than that, yeah, yeah, I would say both. And what does it look like in practice? Is love and listening,
okay.
acknowledgement, forgiveness, the
King.
whole thing. Whatever you give to yourself.
I like that, sir.
Yeah.
I'm gonna piggyback on that, and I'm gonna tie in from what John just recently stated. Going into this conversation, to this question right here. For me, it would be to resume parent, child, teenager, pre-adult, adult. As far as an adult to adult friendship, I'm gonna have to do away with. Adult to adult, I can still only see our highest level as being I'm the dad and you're still my child. But I'm gonna respect you when you do start growing out of your childhood into adulthood. I'm gonna respect you in that facet. Um, but the one thing that I've gotten better at, hugs. Hugs. When I'm trying to really repress something, I give uncomfortable, comfortable hugs. Like I make it feel kind of, all right, Dad. No. Come here. Let me love on you a little bit more. Give me another hug. And I hold it there for a moment until I feel embrace from them to me. and it's a
Mhm.
different type of feeling, and it breaks down a lot of barriers. I'm going to say that it breaks a lot of barriers. You might even catch a tear, a snickle, laugh, and after that, I'll say something crazy like, "You want another hug, don't you?" And I might get a yes, and I just give him another
Gotta
hug.
love it.
Oh, I'm
All
I'm,
right.
I'm dead ass
So what
serious
you
for real.
so the mechanism here is warmth, and you're also
Yeah.
using humor. Okay. Make light of the
Yeah.
situation, bring light to the
Mhm.
situation, give them that warm feeling. Yeah. Because yeah, a hug could just be like, and then you're gone. But by holding that there, you're allowing the soul to really heat up.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, okay. Ah, this feels warm. This doesn't feel cold. Because
Nah.
hugs can't feel cold.
Nah.
Hugs can feel
Nah.
cold. Yeah, and
Nah.
that makes it feels like a disconnect. So all right.
Yeah. I mean,
And enduring.
Sherman said, love is a verb. So, I want you to really feel that I mean this. I mean this. And I want to change. I want to change for the betterment of being a better parent to you as my child, because I can't do that no other way for any other child. I mean, this is my personal walk and personal journey, personal relationship with you. And like you said, we don't even know each other. You came from the womb to this age. So, I'm learning. So, yeah, I get uncomfortable, comfortable hugs. I really do. And I stand on 'em. So that's me. Oh, but in practice, this is my personal walk. I send this to my son every day almost. Not really necessarily on the weekend, but during the week we talk a lot. But I still send this to him throughout his day. I'd be like, little text message said, "Peace, God. Top of the day. You are appreciated, loved, and adored. Have a godly day. And remember,
Affirmations.
please remember,
Yeah.
today is the
Yeah.
beginning of the rest of your life. So make all decisions count and calculated in your best interest. Always lead with love first. Love you very, very much. Peace." That's what I send to him every day. Every day. And if I miss something, he on my head. You all right over there? You cool? Yeah, yeah. My bad. You know what? I forgot to send you that. Yeah, yeah. But I thought
Yeah.
because we already talked for the day or I already got a hug for the day, I should be good. Nah, 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 nah. Like you said, John, once you start a habit, you got to keep it going. You got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. And then we sometimes we forget the maintenance that goes into that habit that we created in order to keep it consistent. You got to stay on that maintenance. You got to stay on that maintenance, man. You got to stay on that maintenance.
All right. Let's keep it rolling. I just got this question, and we're just gonna jump to the end.
Okay.
The goal is, in my view, adult to adult. Uh, Here's why. So the rupture was caused by the parent-child relationship. The
Mm,
rupture was
mm.
caused by the parent-child relationship. You can't operate within that dynamic anymore. That's gone. They don't want that anymore. So you have to forge something fresh. You got to create something new. Um, you're not resuming. You're creating something different. This is different. This is separate, right? Separate only in the sense of this is its own bubble now. This is its own experience. It's still connected. It's still related. It still has a relationship with that, right? There's boundaries here. You advise only when you're asked. Boundaries. Unsolicited advice can be looked at as criticism in disguise. All right? Think about that. Like, you coming to me and personally, my dad did that to me once. And in my mind, I didn't say anything, but I was like, nah, man. No. I did not give you permission to do that. There are kids that are going to feel like you're intruding. Like, hey, I didn't give you permission to give me advice. I didn't ask you. I will ask you. Now they're going to get defensive and you flare up.
Yeah.
Now we're back. We're back to where, the resentment comes. So boundary, right? Got to respect that boundary. You got to respect their partner, their time, boundaries. You share appropriately about your own life and vulnerabilities. as you would with a friend. Okay? Like you don't do too much and you don't impose, and you got to relate to who they are now, not the kid that you remember. This is a stranger. You have to relearn them. So start with the curiosity and build on that. You want this to feel, for them especially, you want them you want this to feel fresh. You want this to feel new, so that they're also curious and they're not thinking, oh, dad from the past is coming back, mom from the past is you don't want that clouding this new experience. Keep that shit back there, right? What you're doing here is you're allowing them to tell you about their pain, tell you about their hurt. You're willing to participate in dealing with that, managing that, accounting for that, assisting them in healing that part. But it still needs to be with their permission. They have to invite you in. Otherwise, it's going to feel forced. Invitation, you get more with sugar, right? Last question
Right about
here. It's not really a question. Just finish the sentence. The hardest part about being a parent of an adult child. Just empathize for a moment.
Yeah.
The hardest part. I'll go first. I'll go first. I'll go first. Letting go. Letting go. It's allowing them to make the decisions that you wouldn't make. You know, you're watching them, you're like, I wouldn't do that. You got to really let go. And then there's the trust. It's the trust of their resilience. I'm trusting that you're going to be able to take on any challenge, and you won't need me there to hold your hand, to shield you from anything. You know, it's releasing that tendency of protecting them from every fall. You know, you have to trust in their resilience. They got this far without you. They got this far without you. You're rebuilding this relationship. It's been a lapse. They're rebuilding with you, but you have to acknowledge that there was a gap, and they've done some incredible things, and hopefully you get the privilege of listening and exploring that with them, of them sharing that with you, so that you can recognize, like, dang, wow, you really are strong, and you can affirm that. And of course, the backlash is going to come. It's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know you know. You got it. Yeah, it's still in there. I know there's more. All right, just get it on out. Come on. I'm not going to be a punching bag. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this, y'all. I'm not saying be the punching bag. I'm saying let them get it out. Don't ignore it. Don't deflect from it. Just like, okay, I see it. Okay, yep. Because now you're learning some self-control. The self-control you didn't have before, you're learning it in that moment. That was the lesson you were supposed to learn back then. You're getting it now. How controlled can you be now? All right, so I'm rambling. King, what you got?
Real quick, case in point, true situation. I said, what do you want from me? You want me to reply as your father? Or do you want to reply as man to man having real talk? And the first thing that came out of his mouth was man to man. They said, no. That's my father. I said, well, I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to reply as what would I do if I was talking to my father, man to man. He said, I rambled off some things. And then I say, I want to say this to you as my son. I love you, and number one thing that I always hold higher than anything else is your safety. Do you think what you're doing is putting you in a safe position to where even out of my reach, I can reach you? And given the situation, he said, no. I said, well, that's my answer. That's my answer. And like John said, I had to let you be a man. Your decisions are total sum of what you know, your state of being. Let me let you be a man until you decide you really want to come get some wisdom, understanding, and experience from me. That was it. That's all I had. Which led into a 2-hour conversation after that where I just listened. In real time, I just listened after that. But that's what I got in closing.
Sherm, finish the sentence. Hardest part about being a parent of an adult child?
I'm going with those two. I'm going with those two examples. That's my future. So that's what I need to look out for. And now I have two different point of views to strike from. So if one don't work, go to the other. That one don't work, come up with one. But in closing, I'm going with those.
All right, so as we end our time together today, I want to leave you guys with a brief thought. Building a bridge back to your adult child isn't about, these grand gestures or rewinding the past. It's not about who's right. It's not about who's wrong. It's about the quiet, courageous choice to lay down your defenses and truly listen. It's about choosing curiosity over judgment and connection over being correct. And it just starts with a small single step, right? Maybe it's the decision to get curious and ask them about their experiences. Maybe it's that text message that has no agenda behind it. Maybe it's simply holding their hurt in your heart for a moment without trying to explain it away. This isn't a race. It's a gradual unfoldment of trust. The bridge is not going to be built in a day, but it can be built. So thank y'all for listening. This is Things That People Don't Want to Talk About, brought to you by God Level, who is out and about, but she will be returning next week. I've been your host, John Skywalker. We got my mans King Newborn and Sherman in the house, in the building, and we will see y'all next week. Salute.
Peace.